Did you always want to be a wrestler? Did you fall into like when did you know you wanted to do this for a living?
So I've been wanting to do it well, I've been, again, surrounded by wrestling my whole life. I tried to fight against it when I was like 13 years old. I tried to say I tried to rebel in a way and be like, no, like I'm gonna be a vet or something. But I love the business and I couldn't fight it. And eventually I started getting in the ring at 13 years old, like professionally. And after that first match, I was just like, this is what I'm gonna do for the rest of my life. And I'm gonna be a WWE diva. Like that's the dream. And I'm not gonna stop until I get there.
13, that is so young. I
Yeah,
mean,
it's
it had to
young.
have been terrifying, when you're surrounded by a bunch of people that are older, you know,
Actually, no, I was so used to being around wrestlers again my whole life. I was in the dressing rooms, I was on the road, I was with my parents. That's all I knew. So I didn't know anything else. So it was uh it was more terrifying when I first came over to WWE, but when I'm at home and wrestling, no, it felt like second nature to me.
do you recall like any drills and any pieces of advice that you got from your parents or anybody that you worked with when you started out learning how to wrestle?
Um, you know, Oh, there was a piece of advice. It was so silly though. It's nothing to do with wrestling, but it's to do with the traveling. My dad was like, "You never fall asleep on the drive," and it's a wrestling etiquette back then that if there's like a designated driver, you stay awake with them the whole time. So anytime that I would fall asleep on a journey, my dad would be like, "Saraya J," like screaming it in my ear, like joking around, but he was like, "You have to stay awake." So yeah, just again, a lot of it was just like second nature. There was just I just rolled with the punches back then, but all that kind of advice started once I got to WWE.
Okay. Well, training, especially, it is intense, like the workouts and everything, but you seem like you've got it, put all the fundamentals together really quick because you're surrounded by your family and
Yep.
close friends in the business. Talk to me about your first few matches. I mean, were you nervous? Were you happy? Talk to me about those times.
um yeah, I was terrified. I mean, I was very young, but I was being taken care of from my brother. He was in there doing the pink Power Ranger. He got in a mask to make sure I was comfortable. But yeah, I had the nerves. I feel like everybody that wrestles, even up to this point, has nerves. If you don't have that, then you're not in love with the business, or if any job that you have, if you don't have nerves with it, in the entertainment space, you know, maybe you're not in love with it as much as you want to be.
Yeah, you really have to show passion for what you do because if you don't, I mean, find something else. But you took to it, you got your training, you
Yep.
start working across Europe. Tell me
Yep.
about when you start wrestling for all these different promotions before WWE. What was that like?
Yeah, it was great. I mean, I was traveling by myself by the time I was 14 years old, and I was going to Norway, I was going to Turkey, I was going everywhere. And so luckily my parents were comfortable enough to let me go out on the road by myself at such a young age. And I loved it. I loved it. Every week my dad would be like, where are you going this weekend? And I'd be like, I'm going to Spain. I was always on the road somewhere, but I was so adamant that I was going to make it to the WWE that I did not want to give up. And it was great. I didn't really have a childhood because I was just so focused on wrestling.